Good afternoon. I am Debra Morrison, and you are tuned in to the We Can Do It Women movement, where women 60 and wiser step into the spotlight and make the rest of their lives the best of their lives. I'm your host, Debra Morrison, a wealth building expert and champion for women, extraordinary women just like you, in order that you can create your own financial wealth. For over 47 years, I've helped women secure their financial futures, and now I'm on a mission to ignite a revolution, showing the world that at 60, 70, and beyond, we're not slowing down, we're just getting started. And today's We Can Do It Women expert interview features an amazing woman who has so many talents, Connie Inukai. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here.
You're most welcome. Oh, this is going to be so rich because I've done some reading about you and I could do a lot more, I am sure. But let me just give our audience a nickel's worth of background, and then we're going to delve into some of the things you've got your finger in still, let alone all the things that are already in your rear view mirror, if you will. You're a retired professor from Columbia University, got your MA from Columbia University. You have taught professional writing for 40 years at the University of Maryland and Johns Hopkins University, and retired from that, right? And then became, at age 68, an award-winning inventor. Talk to us about your invention, Connie, at age 68.
Okay, so thank you for this great introduction.
Yeah.
So most people, most inventors try to solve a problem.
Yes.
So my problem was I would go out to restaurants and I really couldn't even see the menu or the bill. My eyes, the older I got, the worse my vision got. So I used to have to ask somebody, what's good?
Or what's a special?
Yeah, what's your special? I would usually ask the server, what's good? Because I was embarrassed. I couldn't see. And I mainly because it was dark and the print was too small. So when I went out with my friends, we used to pass around reading glasses and, and do that. But many people, many people would take the menu and go like this,
Yeah, of course.
this, to try. And I said, there's got to be a better way. So I invented tip and split. And tip and split has a magnifier. See,
look at that, you guys.
the small print. It has a light on the back that's not so obtrusive as like a flashlight on your phone.
Yeah.
And then I decided to add on, you can figure out a tip and split the bill in case you want to.
Yes.
Okay. But I just thought it would be and I like the name tip and split that I came up with, but I invented it mainly for the magnifier and for the light. Okay. And I use it for everything. I use it to read small print on medicine. I use it for everything. So I invented this product and I knew nothing about inventing, nothing. But I'm not afraid to learn new things.
So you look it up, right? You looked it up.
Yeah. And that's one thing about retirement. You should never stop learning. And so, I mean, that was a whole new category for me about inventing. So I joined some inventors groups and I actually learned how to invent. I learned what are the steps of inventing. And as a matter of fact, I have a patent on this. And my patent attorney wrote a book about inventing, and I'm his co-author because he needed some help. And anyway, so he wrote a book about inventing, and he asked me to help because I know so much about inventing now.
Yes, of course. And you're such an excellent writer. Hello. I mean, come on.
So anyway, we wrote that book before AI, before artificial intelligence came out.
Of course.
So anyway, so I'm really happy. So I invented this product, and but I was still working. I was still teaching. My last job was at the University of Maryland, and I taught technical writing to my to seniors. They all were required to take a course in technical writing, but they all hated the idea. because nobody likes to write, especially engineers. They're kind of notorious for not being good writers.
Yeah.
So I tried to impress upon them that they were all very smart in engineering, but if they couldn't write, they're going to appear to be very unintelligent. So why don't we fix that?
And you asked them, like, who's here the last semester of your senior year, and like every hand went up, right?
Right. And I said, you couldn't put it off any longer, could you? So they really, they didn't want to take the course, but at the end they loved it because I made writing fun.
Of course you did.
I gave them 6 assignments throughout the course, and actually halfway through, I would put them in groups and they would do a final group paper. And I actually put 4 people together who were the kind of the most non-studenty people I've ever seen. And I put them in a group together. The last day of class, they came to present their project in suits. And at the university, they were like all sort of like the people you would think are the least
Polished.
yeah, the least polished. They came up in suits to present their combined project because they were so proud of it. I took a picture of them.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I just was so happy because they loved the course. And these were the people who would have been dropouts.
Yes, they would have been. Yeah. Yeah.
No, and
so tell us about didn't you have them write a brochure for Tip and Split?
no, I wrote the brochure, but
Okay.
I had them write 6 assignments. The last one was a group assignment.
Yeah.
The first assignment I gave them was to find a job, to scour over like Indeed.com or
Yes.
other job places, or find a business that was tops in the field of engineering that they would love to work for. And then I asked them to write a brochure for that company. These were individual projects. So they wrote a brochure for that company. They weren't going to send it. I told them, you're not going to send this, but you're just going to be ready. In case you happen to have an interview, you could have something up your sleeve and say, by the way, I did this in one of my classes, or something. And so they wrote a brochure. And while they were writing their brochure, they were so much better than I was with graphics and with computers. But I used what I learned from them, and I wrote a brochure for Tip and Split that I still use.
Love that. Oh my gosh.
The next assignment was an instruction manual, because every engineer has to know how to do instruction manuals.
They do.
So I asked them to find something that they would, some kind of product in that company, and write an instruction manual for it. Now, I learned how to write an instruction manual, and I told them, but I gathered so much more from what they put together. So that was the basis for my instruction manual that I still use for Tip and Split.
Unbelievable. See, how practical was your teaching, Connie? I mean, well, it's a rhetorical question. It was so practical. And especially, what a send-off for these seniors like last semester, right? And to have a course like yours that was so apropos and relative to what they were facing. And yeah, you talked about they were probably going to land jobs to pay a multiple of what you were making teaching, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But my main thing was they wrote to me afterwards and said, thank you so much. I got a job and I love it. And you helped me. And now I'm not afraid to write. So I mean, I loved my job. I loved it. I loved it. But I had to quit because I said, after 40 years, I'm inspiring all these students. I think it's time for me to inspire me.
So you said, all right, I'm going to my next chapter, and you did the Tip and Split.
And I had everything. I had everything ready. I had a brochure. I had an instruction manual. I just didn't have the product yet, but I was working on that.
Oh my gosh. This whole thing is so indicative of you being fueled, Connie, by your desire to stay active and passionate after retiring. And that is so rich because to a lot of people's way of thinking, once they retire, they get a little lazy, sometimes bored, and sometimes they get sick. And you said, no, that's not happening to me.
I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think uh, that dementia has a chance on
Yeah,
my brain as long as I keep active.
I'm totally with you. I agree with you. I think that this kind of verve is very, very rich and more prevalent. We are so enlivened here in this group with hearing women's stories such as yours that it is very, very exciting in order to squash that notion that, and of course, most of American society is like, okay, you did your birthing and you're kind of raised the kid and then empty nesters and they're kind of done with you. Now let's bring out the young women with the beautiful figures and so forth and so on. So that you have such rich proof that that is absolutely a myth that needs to be completely obliterated. And you've done
Exactly.
your good share in obliterating it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I love what I'm doing, and I'm not stopping because you're never too old to do something.
All right, everybody, hear that? We're
You're never
never.
too old. I'm probably older than most of your audience because it's a 60 plus community, and I'm 70 plus.
Oh well, we've got 80 plus, sweetheart. So you're right in the thick of it.
Okay, good. Well,
Yeah.
so even an 80-year-old can do something. And so what I did last year,
Yeah.
I gave a TEDx talk.
I
Are you
saw
familiar
that.
with TEDx? TEDx is to spread ideas worth sharing.
We're sharing. And
So
you have 6 reasons to pursue your passion in retirement. Talk to us about it.
okay, well, I think the main thing is when you retire, usually when people retire after 6 months, they start getting illnesses.
I know they get sick.
And I did some research on that. They start getting illnesses. Well, I retired almost 10 years ago, maybe less. I don't have any sicknesses, and I don't want to like, you know, jinx myself. But the fact is, when you're busy in a business, it keeps your mind active, it keeps your body active, it keeps you socially active. It gets me to meet people like you. What other retired people
Yeah,
get to meet people like you? Okay.
exactly. Exactly.
So there are 6 reasons.
Yeah.
Mentally active, physically active, socially active. You get to do some volunteer work. I love volunteering, and it's another good thing that keeps you active.
It
And it
does.
also gives you a little bit of financial help if you need it. Like
Right.
when you retire, maybe your finances have changed.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to really make you rich unless you hit the jackpot, which I'm
Right.
still hoping for. But it gives you a little bit of added joy in your life and financial joy. So my TEDx talk was in my TEDx talk, I talked about how when people retire, everybody comes after you about retirement and finances.
Yeah. Yeah.
My big thing is it's not just about the finances. It,
Thank you.
it's about your lifestyle and the joy that you want to have in retirement.
There you
My finances are okay. Then it's not great. I sold 20,000 tip and splits before, but then I put it on hold because I had a new business. So I put tip and split totally on hold until Walmart contacted me. And, so now I'm deciding to do both this one and my new business. And I'm just having the time of my life. And I'm hoping other people could see, maybe they have a hobby that they like to do, and they can develop it into a small business. That's great.
doing something you love, right, Connie?
Something you love, and something that's not hard for you. So,
Yeah.
what's hard for most people is writing. And obviously, for me, I was a writing teacher, so that's not so difficult for me.
Not at all. Not at all. Now you are amazing because when you were talking just now about you had your students write this, it was just completely profound. Um, and what people kind of now do is they go on AI and they get the things from AI that you peeled out of your students. I thought that was brilliant.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad I retired because I don't know what I would do with AI now. How do
Oh,
you read
I
them?
have every confidence in you, Connie. You would just pick it up like a fish in water.
No, I know it about AI,
Yeah.
but I just don't know if they hand in reports, if it's their writing.
Oh, now we're talking about a whole different animal. Yeah.
Yes, that's why, I love AI.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But if you're teaching a writing course, how do you know that it's actually their work?
Oh, right now, right now. Okay, now you've given us the perfect segue. You share your expertise in writing to help fellow baby boomers write their own unique life story and
Mhm.
talk to us about the name of it.
Okay, I call it Write Your Selfie. And the reason I call it Write Your Selfie is because when you're young, every young person takes selfies all day long, which
All
are
day long.
pictures. So my program and my book is based on pictures. And what I do is everybody wants to write their life story. I think when you
Yeah,
get older, you want to leave something to your descendants, your grandchildren. I have
yeah.
7 grandchildren. Okay, 3 of them are in the other room living with me. Okay, so that's why I call myself Grandmapreneur. Did you know
I
that?
I do. Grandmapreneur is a magnificent term. I loved it.
Uh-huh. Well, I had it trademarked because I'm an
Nice.
inventor, so I know all about trademarks, copyrights, everything like that. So I trademarked that name.
I'm glad you did.
Thank you. So what I did is I realized that actually I got the idea for Write Your Selfie shortly after Kobe Bryant died.
Oh boy.
So everybody remembers him. He was in a helicopter with his daughter and he died.
Yes, of course.
Now he had another child, but
Yes.
I think that his family will know all about him because of his social media presence.
That's right.
Everybody knows his name
Yeah.
and knows what he did.
Yeah.
But what about me? What about us?
Yeah.
The normal person
Yeah.
is going to know about us unless we tell them.
Totally.
So I decided a lot of people want to write their life story, but they just don't need how, and they need a little push and maybe a little bit of accountability.
Yes.
So I started a program where I help them, but I also made it easy because most people, when they write a memoir or a life story, it's like 300 pages and nobody wants to read it. Okay. Who wants
It's
to read
true.
it? Uh-huh. So what I did is I went through all my photo albums. Now, people on your website might know about photo albums,
Oh,
but
we all do. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because that's our age, young
Right.
people just have the smartphone.
Exactly.
So I went through 17 photo albums and I found my favorite pictures that show my life. And each picture has a caption. Can I give you an example?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Show us.
This is the book that I wrote.
Oh, is that adorable? Oh, look
That's
at that
me.
picture.
And I want my grandkids to know that grandma used to be young once. So I found a picture of me, and then I wrote my life story. And I'm going to just give you maybe one picture.
Yeah, yeah. You show that one on the cover. How old were you there? That is adorable.
Probably about one.
Are you gonna say, yeah.
Okay, I look different now. So this is another picture. This is a picture of my grandparents. I don't know if you can see that,
Yes, right there, right there.
but
Nice.
I'm going to tell you the caption.
Yeah, yeah, because you make a very big point about creating captions for each photo. Okay, so here, hit us.
Grandma Ella and Grandpa Arthur moved to the United States from Poland. They missed the ship over to the United States in 1912 because Ella was pregnant and had morning sickness.
Oh, for gosh sakes.
The ship they missed was the Titanic.
Connie,
It's true, and I didn't even know it.
Connie.
I didn't know it. So how did I find out? Well, when I started writing my book, I asked some of my relatives for pictures that they could give me.
Right.
And my cousin, who's about 2 years older than I am, told me that story, gave me that picture and told me that story because it was his father who our grandmother was pregnant with. So now my grandkids, my oldest grandchild is 13. He used to love watching everything about the Titanic. And now he knows he's actually connected to the Titanic, because if his great grandmother had been on that ship, we might not have been here. So
You would have been.
I feel that everybody has some Titanic moments in their life.
Oh, that is such a mic drop, Connie. Oh,
So
MG, that is amazing.
So I'm going to show you something else. I want my family to know all about me and some of the highlights of my life.
I know.
This is not so exciting. Oh, my mother went to law school with two people who became Supreme Court justices.
Wow. And your mother going to law school, that was a woman ahead of her time.
She was the first woman in her law school in Minnesota.
Of course she was. Yeah.
So I'm proud of her. Okay, this is another picture. This is a picture of our boat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, we called the boat Dr. Skakel. And we called it that because we named it after my parents, David and Rebecca, and then Sharon, Connie, Arthur, Chucky, Louie. There were 5 of us. And they had one more child. So we all took a vote and all decided to call him Eddie. So we could keep the name Skacle, Skakel. We wouldn't have to change the name of our boat. So that's one caption under that picture. And there's another caption because I want them to know about my life.
Yeah, the stories, yeah.
The other caption said, "We went fishing every weekend." We lived in Cleveland on Lake Erie, by the way.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Often bringing home 100 fish for mom to clean. One day, one of the fish was still alive, so we put it in the bathtub. Nobody ever used that bathtub for 20 years. So my grandkids go through this and they see all these pictures and they love looking. It's not like a 400-page memoir. This is pictures.
Well, that's great.
By the way, this is my high school.
Cleveland Heights. I was raised on the Ohio border and I had relatives in Cleveland and Bedford.
Really? Okay.
And so I know all about Lake Erie. Of course, it came over to Pensy. Yeah.
Right. Well, we were on Lake Erie every weekend. Well, Cleveland Heights is now quite famous because that's where Travis Kelce went.
Oh.
The one with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, for sure,
He went to my high school.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so my whole book is filled with pictures. This is actually my son. My son used to do baseball card shows for kids. This is his flyer, and this is him, my son. He's now 46 years old, but he's in. My 3 kids are in here.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah.
So anyway, so I think that it's not so difficult to write your selfie if you know how to get started. So I made it so easy. I picked up my favorite pictures and then I told my children, because of my age, when I'm gone, they're going to find shoe boxes filled with pictures.
Yeah.
Throw them out. I saved the best ones in my book. So they're going to have an easier job of cleaning up my house because they don't know what to do with all my pictures.
Of course they don't.
I'm going to say you can throw them out.
I've already done the sorting.
Yes. So that's my newest venture called Write Your Selfie, where I'm using my writing skills and I help people write captions, and I help them get a caption that's going to be meaningful. And then what I did is I wrote a little booklet. And this booklet is it's how to write your selfie.
I was going to say, because you have a whole easy to create it, and you say that you can do it in as little as 6 weeks. So talk to us about what you do in week 1.
Here's another picture. I said, now you have to add a caption to every picture. Okay. This is a picture of my mom and me and my sister and brother standing next to a car. Notice my mom with the family car. I think it was a Plymouth. I was born in that car. Couldn't quite make it to the hospital. So my grandkids love going through my book. This was just a little booklet to help people how to do it.
Get an
How to do it.
idea.
And they can do it on their own, or I can help them.
Oh my gosh. So if somebody in our audience wants to do that, they're not going to do it as well as you did it. But if they want to do it in their own photos, they could contact you, Connie, and you could, like, for a price, walk them through how to actually make a beautiful book like that.
Well, I have two prices. I'm still working on it. The first price is $197, and they get this book, and I give them 6 lessons, what to do each week. Okay.
Wow. That's
And
a
the next
steal.
and the next one is $497. They get this book, they get the lessons, but I meet with them on Zoom for 6 weeks until it's done. And we go through and we choose the pictures and we write the captions and everything, because 6 weeks is great.
It's
Now,
enough. Yeah.
I've had a few people who have contacted me because a loved one died
Yes.
and they wanted to do it, or write your selfie for their loved one. And I love doing that
Yeah.
because you'd like to do it while the person's still alive.
Yes, of
But
course.
even if they're gone, people want to know all about them, because we are not all Kobe Bryants.
Right. You are exactly right. And, I was having that thought as I was looking at, the information on the internet about you. And I thought to myself, especially when people die suddenly, like if a person is languishing with an illness, generally people are gathering pictures and so forth. But if a person dies suddenly, it's, one, such a horrible shock. And two, it's inviting for and comforting. I'm a certified grief coach as well. Comforting for to put out the word, hey, you guys, now we electronically submit pictures because you could be spread all over the place, as many families are. Hey, send me the electronic pictures, and then we can actually
Exactly. That's
create.
exactly what I do. And what I want to go into is work with people with dementia,
Oh, yes. Yes.
because people with dementia have very poor short-term memory, but they have great long-term memory.
Oh, they know who sat beside them in first grade.
Right. So I would think if somebody has a parent or a grandparent with dementia, this would be wonderful to them. I cannot imagine anything more fulfilling to that person than having this their book
Yes.
next to their bed. And when people come over to visit them, they go through the pages and they laugh.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So
And they
that
would let, yes, because they would look at the pictures of themselves as young and they would know exactly. They would totally engage. How brilliant.
well, that's my next thing that I'm going to focus on.
Oh, good, because you stole my question. What's your next focus? Oh my gosh, that is brilliant, Connie.
Mhm. So I'm thinking that uh, there are so many places this can go, and I made it easy. I just can't imagine people doing, a 400-page memoir.
Yeah.
But they love looking at mine.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And then their friends come over and they say, "Look at grandma." And she was, and I mean, it's so fun because, like, they can turn right to the favorite
Oh
pictures.
yeah. I have a picture of me in high school playing ping pong. And I tell them that I was the first girl, me and my friend Nancy, we were the first girls on the ping pong team in high school. And so they like seeing that.
Yes, of course, of course. Oh, that is so rich. Now you have how many kids? 3 kids?
3 kids.
Yeah. All right. All right. And three
They're
grand.
all grown. 7 grandkids.
Okay. Okay.
My oldest child is 46 and he's got a 1-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm so excited, and one day they're gonna understand that they want one too,
Oh,
before
absolutely.
it's too late.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if anybody is interested, they can contact me at www.writeyourselfie.com, and I will send them like an abbreviated version of this book for free. It comes right to them, and I tell them a little bit about Write Your Selfie. So my real problem is I don't know how to do marketing. So I'm trying.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Everybody in the group, we got some marketers in here, so you guys want to connect with Connie because she's brilliant. She has an idea every fourth second, and you just connect up and you can figure out how to bring all of these great ideas to the marketplace. Oh my gosh.
So I have a new invention, but I've
Oh
been
yeah.
just too busy to deal
What
with
is
it.
it?
I can't really tell you yet, but I'm going to try and work with Starbucks. Okay.
Ooh.
And I got the idea because, well, I got the idea about 3 years ago. I've been just too busy to deal with it. But I'm going to work with two other inventors. They don't know it yet, but I'm in an inventor group, and I want to work with somebody. And one of the women was on the cover of a magazine about inventors, and she's very quirky. And in it, she talked about how she loves to go to Starbucks every day and have her latte.
Yes.
And so she's adorable. She's younger. They're both younger than me, and
Yeah.
they're both successful inventors. And I'm going to see if they might want to work with me on the new one because now I have too many things that I'm doing, but I want to get this invention out. I already did all the research for my new product.
All right. Well, we're not, no, yeah, don't take the lid off the kettle. Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you when it comes out because
I want,
it was
we
an
want to, we want to know it.
accidental product. It was
Accident.
an accidental product. That's how some happen.
That's how a lot of life happens, but there are a lot of people that just allow that to happen and pass through, but you hang on to them and develop them into something that's amazing.
And I found one quote, and it's the quote. I can't remember who it was from. It says, "Don't act." Wait, I even wrote it down. Don't act your age in retirement. Act like the inner young person you have always been. Isn't that brilliant?
Amazing. Yes, it is brilliant. Absolutely. Because I often love to say, really, we want to talk to the little Debbie inside, the little Connie inside, because she's still there, right?
Go there.
We've kind of banished her to the corner, and silenced her way too much. And I want us to talk to that little girl who still has some aspirations and still has a bucket list and
Right.
still wants to have fun.
Exactly. And curiosity.
Oh,
Curiosity. I think that all of us have it. Well, but we didn't have time to do it. Like
I
I
know
didn't
you did.
have
How
time.
did you have time to teach, Connie? Really?
I had to quit. But I mainly quit because it was so depressing for me I loved helping these students,
Yeah.
but they contacted me afterwards about how they got their dream job and I helped them. And it was a course that nobody wanted to take. Who wants to take a course in writing, especially if you're an engineer?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody has something that they like to do, and they have to just figure out how to make it click. Because my TEDx talk was try to start a small business in your retirement. It's good for you. It's good for me. It's good for you. Look at you. I don't know your age, but you look very, very young.
Oh,
And
I'm 69, so there we have it. Yeah.
okay, well, you look a lot younger, and it's that smile and the bounce.
Yeah.
And let's see, my granddaughter gave me some good advice. She's 9,
9.
and I love her to death, Victoria. She says, Grandma, I don't want you to get old. And I said, don't worry, I'm fine. And I said, do you have any advice for me? And she said, don't blow out the candles.
Oh.
When it's your birthday, don't blow out the candles. And I thought, what wisdom from a little girl. So now she gave that to me last year. And when it was my birthday, she ran over and blew out the candles for me.
I was going to say, because she's going to have to be there to blow them out. How rich is that,
So
Victoria?
I just really love getting advice from young people.
Yes.
And when we're older, we can give advice back.
Yeah.
And that's why I wrote my selfie to share with them my story and, share with them some of the things that I've done. I started when I was born, when my grandparents were alive. My grandparents, and the Titanic. I started with that. And, everything in my life has been so much fun.
Wow.
And some people don't like saying their age. I didn't like it when I turned 50, by the way.
Ah,
It seemed like a crossroads. When I
yeah.
turned 60, it was okay. When I turned 70, I'm proud of it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm so grateful that we're finally starting the shift. Like in other cultures, they have croning parties and so forth at age 60. And we as Americans tend to have been very, very far behind the world in celebrating the wisdom that mature women bring to the table and families and parties and everything else. And that's one of the reasons why I love the We Can Do It Women movement and our little Facebook group here. I am so impressed, Connie, with how you have found and continue to find purpose, meaning, and sharing it with others through the volunteering, and you give back to some proceeds of your uh,
Tip and spread.
tip and split product to the macular degeneration. Talk to us about
Exactly.
that. How wonderful.
I don't have macular degeneration. Okay.
Mhm.
But when I started learning about it, uh, I gave them a donation and they said, "We love your product." And they had never had a blog. And they started a blog and they said, anybody who contributes to our blog or who writes anything can have a free tip and split. So I sent them a few hundred and people were talking about tip and split, how much they loved it.
Oh, amazing. Of course they love it. That is exactly what girlfriends need, is because like, you got 4 girlfriends, 5 girlfriends, and the bill comes and you're like, all right, oh, that's my, and everybody generally hands it to me as a certified financial planner. I figure it out, right? Well, I do math pretty easily, so I just do, 20% and that whatever. But the fact is how smart and how wonderful it is. And you are talking about passion has no expiration date. I love that.
Thank you. I love it too. I think I thought of it.
I never saw it before, so I'm crediting you with it.
Yeah, I think I came up with that expression. So I have it on my website, and I love what I'm doing, and passion does have no expiration date. I'm so excited, and one day they're
Exactly.
gonna understand that they want one too.
Sorry, I
Before
just
it's too.
I just accidentally toggled and I have some interference because I had the Facebook in the back. So yes, this is such an intergenerational um uh curiosity
And I
project.
want to I want to retire the word retirement. Okay. I
Sweet.
I think that retirement is a very bad word.
I do too.
I'm not sure what we should call it.
I know I toyed with refirement and other things, and then I
But
say
we're on the same page, huh?
hang up the sneakers, and now we just say next chapter.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to say it. Next chapter.
Next chapter, because see, some of these chapters are like, like for you, an invention. That's like a chapter, right? And then another thought and another invention and another book and another whatever. And I have every confidence you're going to be Shark Tanking it. And we're going to see you in starting in some of the Maryland Walmarts. Yes, we are.
No, it's online.
I know right now, sweetheart, but you're going to go into the stores.
Oh,
Come on.
okay. Well, that would be nice. That would be nice. So I have 5,000 in my garage. And the reason for that is do you remember the movie Joy about the inventor who made a mop?
Oh, yes, 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 yes. That's a long time ago. Yeah.
Well, she actually started working for Home Shopping Network. And then she decided she wanted to do a show to help inventors to pitch their products. Okay. And so somebody told me to pitch to them. And they had 10,000 applicants and they chose 40.
Oh my.
And then they chose 4 alternates. I was an alternate. So I didn't get on, but they told me you'll be on next year. Well, the show was canceled, but I bought all these tip and splits just to have them.
Of course.
By the way, I think I'm in a very good position because if all these tariffs happen, nobody's going to have any products from China.
I think you're right.
But I have 5,000 of them in my garage.
I think you just parse them out. I don't think you just blow it in the first month. No, I think that you just,
Oh,
limited time only.
right. Anyway, so that's what's happened. So I was going to be on that show year two, but the show was canceled. So so I have them and I sell them, not so many because I've been mainly working on other things. So that's one thing about when let's say you're not working and you don't have a 9 to 5 job, although
Right.
teaching was never 9 to 5.
No, it's not.
Uh-huh.
Certainly not good teaching for sure.
Uh-huh. But now I have time to focus on what I want to do. And
Absolutely.
that's a good thing about that word retirement or reinvention or
Yeah.
whatever
Next chapter. Yeah.
We don't have to be burdened by all that. And even though I'm not raising children, I sort of am.
Yeah. You have little ones, little grandkids.
Mhm.
That is so rich because often we get on the rat wheel of obligation and routine and so forth. And when we invite ourselves to like take, in my case, it's generally the weekend, one of the days of the weekend, and just say, nobody knows what I'm doing now. I live alone. Nobody knows what I'm doing today. I am just going to whatever feels good. And I enter what I call a no judgment zone because I tend to kind of be critical of myself. And so like, all right, whatever you do today, we're not judging it. If you sleep extra, if you eat at different time, we are not judging. And I'm telling you what, it's such a great pattern interrupt, right? Because we tend to get into grooves and then our subconscious is running us and then we wonder why we're not quite so happy and not so curious. I love that word and it continues to show up in everything I researched about you. Curiosity. And so I'm grateful that you brought it up. And what I want us to leave today with, Connie, and you've imparted it so beautifully for our audience, is stay curious, stay active, stay attuned, be in communication with that generation and 2 generations underneath you, and maybe one above you if they're still alive, and foster that type of communication. And boy, if words fail people, and sometimes they will fail, especially younger kids who have only done emotions and emoticons and stuff like that, then the pictures are the great foray into that. So I applaud you. You have done magnificent work on all of these fronts and so accomplished. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I've been looking you up too. So, I'm so happy to be in the company of you and your group. And I just joined it today.
Yeah, I
So,
know we're anxious to have you participate full on, so we will with you as well. And I want to ask, so you gave the website before, but let's not shoot it out there only once. Tell us how we can contact you.
okay, the easiest thing is my name on there?
Yes.
Connie.Inukai@gmail.
Yes.
You can certainly get me through that.
Okay.
Um, what I'm doing next, by the way, my 13-year-old son and his mother, my daughter, are gonna help me become an influencer on YouTube. My daughter
Love that.
got that idea, and my grandson is very into YouTube videos. I don't know how to do that. Do you know?
Oh yeah. I'm on YouTube. So I'm surprised he's not on TikTok, frankly, but maybe that'll be the next chapter.
Well, they think that I should become an influencer because influencers are usually 20, 30-year-olds. And they said, why can't we have a 77-year-old influencer?
Of
So they're
course.
working on that behind the scenes.
All right, we're all rooting for you, kiddo.
So if anybody wants to join my YouTube channel, it's just called Grandmapreneur.
Grandma. All right, we're going to put that in the show notes so that everybody can pop over there and pay our homage. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This has been so much fun, and I have been enlivened by your presence, let alone all of your contributions and those show and tell. I mean, heavens to Murgatroyd, this has been absolutely rich. And I thank you, Connie, for joining us. Thank you, audience, for joining us on today's We Can Do It Women show. Remember, I see you. I value you. And if today's episode sparked something in you, I invite you to join our group here, Facebook. And until next time, I am Debra Morrison, and pay attention to your money. It will pay you back. Thank you again, and good day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.